forecast first on Color 10 News Ozarks First.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. It's a warm and muggy evening out there. 75 degrees right now in Branson. Today, temperatures topped off warm. It was 88 in Springfield today, 86 in Branson, and 85 down in West Plains. Temperatures in the 70s right now. It's 79 in Springfield. We're running about 10 degrees warmer than we were at this time yesterday, and we're about a little bit more muggy too. We've got dew points sitting in the middle and upper 60s right now. Through the rest of the evening, temperatures only going to drop into the upper 60s and lower 70s, making for a humid and muggy night, and the hot and humid conditions continue tomorrow and for much of next week. But I've got some rain chances in my forecast. We'll do that in a few minutes. Color 10 News at 9 starts now.
Now, from Ozarks First, you're watching Color 10 News at 9 on C.
Least of these food pantry is making sure that people in Christian County don't go home hungry. Good evening, I'm Crystal Blair. One woman in Ozarks says this food pantry changed her life. Our David Chazanoff met with her earlier this week. So David, what made her go to the pantry?
Crystal, Savannah Costin tells me it was because of a traumatic situation. She needed the pantry after one day out on the road.
I actually was in a car accident, and we were in just a really bad financial situation.
Costin didn't have a job and she needed to feed her family.
We needed the extra helping hand. Whenever we found that, it really actually made an impact.
The food pantry helps Costin take care of her 3-year-old son, Isaiah.
It's really been good, just especially for him, because there's a lot of fruits and vegetables and treats.
And it makes things easier for her family.
Of course, it helps us keep food in the cabinets, especially during hard times or, whatever may be the situation at the time.
Costin and others go to the pantry once a month.
When we moved to Ozark a little over a year ago, we knew that we would see an increase in families that we were serving, simply because we are closer to the needs within the county.
Christy Carter's pantry has a busy schedule.
We are open Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 to 1, and then we have 2 evenings a month that we're also seeing families.
2 nights a month, the pantry serves clients who can't travel.
We started doing a mobile food pantry in the Chadwick and Oldfield area.
They chose that area after noticing something almost a decade ago.
We found that there were many families in that area who would cancel their food appointments. Well, they didn't have the gas money to get to the pantry and back.
Including the mobile pantry, more than 840 families are fed every month.
We have 4 full-time staff members and we have about 120 regular volunteers.
This all wouldn't be possible without donations.
We are all funded by individuals, churches, businesses, organizations, and civic groups that are in the area.
Even a small donation can make a difference.
We are able to purchase $10 worth of food for every $1 that's donated.
The pantry buys food from Ozarks Food Harvest for 14 cents a pound. Carter says any donation helps.
All right, thank you, David. About 200 people gathered at Park Central Square today for the Me Too Springfield rally. The goal of the rally was for the community to come together to further support the eradication of sexual assault and harassment. The rally was bipartisan and family-friendly with music, spoken word, shared stories, a What Were You Wearing exhibit, and a self-defense demonstration. Jordan Harris is the president of Me Too Springfield. She says this rally is a celebration of the strength and resiliency of the survivors.
We really just want survivors of Springfield to know that they are not alone in this. When you're sexually assaulted, it's really easy to feel isolated and alone, and we just want to prove that you are not alone in this. We are here for you. You have a community that is supporting you and believes you and affirms you.
Now, Me Too Springfield is also collecting signatures to remove Greene County Judge Calvin Holden. The group alleges that Holden gives too many lenient sentences. Judge Holden responded saying there's a lot of factors that come into play when he's making decisions, and he does what's best for society and the victim. Me Too Springfield will be sending the petition to the Missouri Senate and the Commission of Removal, Discipline, and Retirement. Well, Commercial Street was transformed into a melting pot today thanks to Culture Fest. The event featured an array of traditions from many nationalities. Our Jesse Emmon was there and has the story on how events like this open people's eyes to the diversity of their community.
all walks of life. We want to hit every continent of the world, and that's represented here.
C Street got a beautiful dose of culture today as Culture Fest pulled together a medley of ethnicities to show people what they might be missing out on. Sahi Duran has been a resident of Springfield for over a decade, and she had a realization when she started an intercultural church about 5 years ago.
As I was doing that, mingling with and meeting with different people group, I realized there are a lot of pockets of ethnic group that are just thriving, but that's just as pockets.
People had a chance to see, taste, and experience many cultures today. Duran loves the idea of giving those of all origins a chance to shine with this event.
And I wanted to just feature our story and celebrate us as a community together, and that's why I'm passionate about it.
I've been here for 3 years. I came here as a refugee.
This is Esther Faida. She and her family left a dangerous situation in the Democratic Republic of Congo.
It's quite dangerous because there is a war there. I am from the Democratic Republic of Congo, but I lived in Kenya as a refugee in Nairobi. So that's how I learned how to sew. When you come here as a refugee, you don't choose where to go. They just place you, and it's been good so far, yeah.
Now living in Springfield, she runs her own business, Esther's Couture. She makes clothes and accessories from African fabrics, and she's loved showcasing her passion today. She said events like this make it much easier to meet people.
Even if they are not buying, at least they are stopping by and say hello and take a look at my work.
Really, it's about how you approach the topic of diversity, but for us, this whole event is about let's celebrate it. That's a mentality.
Now, officials with the Springfield Chamber of Commerce say they have plans to visit other cities similar to Springfield and collaborate on making events like Culture Fest happen, all with the goal of improving diversity and inclusion. Well, we do have a traffic alert for you tonight. All northbound lanes of Highway 65 are now open. This is as of 11:30 this morning, which is 6 days ahead of schedule. However, starting Monday on the 16th, 1 to 2 lanes of northbound and southbound Highway 65 between Sunshine and Highway 60 could be closed for pavement smoothing. Now, this will only be nighttime lane closings happening between 8 and 6 a.m. This project has a completion date of November, but the contractor plans to have it done later this month. Well, a new jazz club is open in Springfield.
We really want to change the social fabric of downtown Springfield and Springfield as a whole.
How to catch a show at the Hepcat next.
You're watching Color 10 News at 9 on Z. Ozarks First with Crystal Blair. And weather with meteorologist Beth Finello. This is Color 10 News at 9 on Z.
Well, in our local spotlight tonight, it's been a month since the Hepcat opened downtown. The Hepcat is a jazz club, restaurant, and bar. Performances are Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday nights. Jimmy Rollins and Dylan Fox thought of this idea during a night out in 2017. It has always been their dream to open a jazz club. Rollins says he wanted to see people enjoy themselves. He's happy with the Hepcat's progress, but he's not satisfied yet.
We're going to continue to progress on this. We're not finished by any means. It'll always be a work in progress. We'll always continue to better this business because that's just who we are as people, always striving to be better.
Now, Rollins says performances sometimes do happen on Thursdays and Saturdays, but for now, they're keeping those days open for new ideas. He wants the Hepcat to become a home for jazz musicians. Well, around the Ozarks, down in Hollister today, SotoFest 2019 in full swing. Historic Downing Street is packed with vendors and festival goers for the third annual SotoFest, or State of the Ozarks Festival 2019. Organizers of the festival say that the focus is to celebrate the rich history and heritage of not just Hollister, but the Ozarks, Missouri, and the Civil War. The festival included live medieval combats, a variety of food and entertainment. Janet Fletcher is visiting from Alabama.
We came to the festival as a girls' weekend, and we picked this festival because it was small and quaint.
Of course, all of the shops and merchants here on Downing Street are open. It's a great big party, is what it is.
So if you're in the Hollister area and you'd like to catch some of this party, there's still a little time left. SotoFest wraps up tonight at 10. Well, if you thought it was hot and humid today, just wait until tomorrow. Beth Finello is in next with your forecast.
Now weather with meteorologist Beth Finello.
We have snuck out 2 days in a row that we have not hit 90 degrees for the month of September. Yesterday was a nice treat. Temperatures only topped off in the upper 70s and lower 80s. 83 was our high here in Springfield. Today, though, the sun came out, the winds shifted out of the south, and that helped temperatures warm up into the upper 80s. We had plenty of sunshine today, which also helped aid our temperatures into reaching 88 here in Springfield. 86 was our high in Branson, 85 in West Plains, 86 up in Rolla, 88 in Joplin and in Lake Ozark. And temperatures are only going to get warmer from here. Right now, still very warm and muggy. It's 79 in Springfield, 75 in Branson, 74 in Harrison, and 77 down in Mountain Home, running anywhere from 5 to almost 15 degrees warmer than we were at this time yesterday. Last night we had a cool and comfortable air mass move in, and it didn't last very long because by this afternoon temperatures were hot and conditions were humid. Check out these dew points right now in the 60s and 70s. Still feels a little pleasant in our eastern counties, but that's not going to last long. The winds will continue to kick out of the south, and that will continue to bring in that muggy and soupy air mass. Once again, notice the oranges and the reds already starting to pop across the Ozarks, and that is again courtesy of those winds coming out of the south, bringing in that warm air mass and that humid air mass. And that's what we're going to see tomorrow and into the beginning of the next week and into the middle of next week as well. Good news is, though, is that we're going to stay sunny and dry over the next several days. Through the overnight hours, temperatures will drop into the upper 60s and lower 70s with mostly starry conditions, and that's what Futurecast will show you. Tomorrow, we might see a shower or two, especially in central Missouri. Otherwise, we're looking at lots of sunshine and temperatures in the upper 80s and lower 90s. Then by Monday morning, as you're heading out the door, temperatures in the upper 60s and lower 70s, a very soupy air mass once again. Tomorrow, feel like temperatures will be just a little bit higher than they were today. While I expect temperatures to be in the upper 80s and lower 90s, there are a couple places, especially north and west of I-44, where feel like temperatures could reach the middle and upper 90s through the afternoon. So as always, make sure you're staying hydrated and taking frequent breaks inside if you can. This hot and humid air mass will stick around for tomorrow and through the beginning of the work week and into Wednesday. That cold front that came in that relieved our heat again for just 2 days where we had temperatures in the 80s, but that hot and humid air mass is coming back and it's going to stick around. Check out the temperatures in the 90s through Wednesday, and then we'll have a very weak cold front come in Thursday into Friday, and that will drop our temperatures back just a little bit for some slight relief. Overnight tonight, warm and muggy, temperatures in the upper 60s. Tomorrow, if you're heading out to go golfing, I say hole in one, even though it is going to be a little hot and humid. Lots of sunshine, a couple of clouds, temperatures in the lower 90s, shooting for a high of about 91 here in Springfield. We're going to keep the lower 90 temperatures Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Plenty of sunshine. What's going to happen on Wednesday, though, through the days, we'll have clouds increase. We're going to have a very weak cold front come in. That will bring in a chance of showers and storms for Thursday and for Friday. Knock back our temperatures out of the 90s. Not going to feel very fall-like, though, but at least we'll get a break from the 90s. Then Saturday we'll have a break from the rain, and then it looks like extending into the beginning of next week we'll have another front that'll bring in some showers.
This has to be the most interesting fall season I have ever seen. I mean, this Michigan girl is like, whoa.
I know. I think we're running about 8 degrees above average for the month of September.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I hope that's indicative of the nice warm winter we're going to have.
Well, let's hope. Fingers crossed.
That's right. Thanks so much, Beth. An Arkansas teacher is alive because of a student's quick thinking.
My family is indebted to you.
How a 10-year-old saved a life. That's next. Well, some good news from around the region tonight. A 10-year-old's quick thinking helped save a Little Rock, Arkansas teacher left gasping for air right in front of her class. Susan L. Corey says that the student who stepped in to help wasn't even supposed to be in the class.
No workbooks in this kindergarten class. Tell students what to do when their teacher almost stops breathing.
I didn't know how to ask for help because I couldn't talk.
Luckily, Kim Rosby didn't need to instruct Nivea Woods.
Her instincts just kicked in.
The 10-year-old knew just what to do.
My new buddy. Oh.
When the Little Rock teacher had an asthma attack.
My family is indebted to you.
Normally, Rosby wears this bag around Meadowcliff Elementary. An inhaler tucked inside.
This particular morning, I decided to lock my purse up in the car.
While trying to teach her 18 students, things took a turn.
It snuck up on me. It happened quickly.
Just so happens this 5th grader stopped by to volunteer, quickly noticing something was wrong.
She just started coughing and everything. And then she went to her desk and she couldn't talk.
I grabbed my keys and started shaking them.
And she handed me the keys and I went out there and got it.
Within a few minutes, Rosby says she was back on her feet, a sigh of relief that left her with one question.
How did you know that I needed my asthma pump?
I usually see her around carrying it in her purse.
That life-saving observation.
I have thanked her so much and I've hugged her so much.
Leaving this class with a lesson that doesn't need repeating.
I was one of the blessed ones.
Wow, incredible story. And you can see Nevia's a little shy. When asked if she knew this was an asthma attack, she said she just knew Miss Rosby needed that inhaler to breathe, and by shaking the car keys, figured it out. Well, coming up, Beth Vanello has a recap of your 7-day forecast. We'll be right back. Well, in the Kansas State-Mississippi State game today, Mississippi State freshman quarterback Garrett Schrader on 4th and 16 tries to leap for a first down, but he takes a big hit by 2 KSU defenders and goes airborne and spins like a helicopter. He fell 1 yard short of a first down. KSU won the game 31-24. Now, Beth, I know that this is hard for you.
I'm upset.
And tell us why, because
I went to Mississippi State.
Yeah.
And I'm bitter. We should have won this game. He should have had the first down.
Well, he almost got it.
It's fine.
All right, well, maybe we better do a recap of the weather real fast.
It's going to be hot. We'll have lots of sunshine and temperatures in the 90s.
All right. Thanks so much. Please join us again at 10 on 10.